Hey Stampin' friends! Okay, this is a little bit random, kind of unplanned. I just decided to go ahead and go live today and show you guys what I've been up to in my craft room today. It's a total mess in here. I have all kinds of stuff going on. There's so much more you can't even see, so trust me, I've been having fun. It's Sunday afternoon here in Utah. I've been doing the whole month of May, this entire campaign, the stamp set a day in May. I've just been featuring my different favorite retiring stamp sets. And so today's stamp set is lined alphabet. And so I sat down and I've been playing with it and I came up with something cute that I love. So I decided, oh, I'm just gonna show my friends on Brandi Stamps. So hi, I see I got a few people joining me and watching. And even if you join later, go ahead and comment away. I always do little door prizes from my live videos. And so go ahead and let me know you're here, say hello, tell me what you love or whatever, so I can send you a little prize after, woohoo! But like I said, I've been doing this campaign, Stamp Set a Day in May. Stampin' Up! Is getting a brand new catalog starting at the beginning of June. And so during May, I've been featuring all of those amazing, beautiful stamp sets that are not going to be in the new catalog. Hey you guys, hi Kylie, hi Margene. So the one I picked for today is lined alphabet. That's gonna be backwards for you guys, but it's just this big wide alphabet stamp set where you get this open middle, so you can color it in if you want to, or just leave it. There are lots of different ways to use it, and I'll show you guys some samples here in a bit. But this has been a favorite of mine. I love making personalized projects, and so today happens to be my cute little nephew's birthday. His name is Lewis, and he's turning 1 today. How cute is that? He lives in Boise, so he's not, I haven't seen him today. Probably wouldn't see him anyway because, you know, viruses and stuff. But so I was making a little card for him that has his name on it, and I'm going to show you guys. So let's flip this down so we can see what I've got. Maybe we'll flip it. There we go. My ceiling wasn't very fun to watch. All right, so here's our stamp set. This is the one that we're featuring for the day. And I'm going to show you a little bit of like a watercolor resist technique with the letters of the stamp set. So let's go ahead and get started. His name is Lewis, so I have my letters already out here. And this paper that I'm using is the Fluid 100. It's a watercolor paper, and so it can handle a lot of water going into it, which is what I'm planning on doing. And then I've got a little tray here with my white embossing powder in it, and I'll use my Versamark ink pad. So let me show you first how I get his name all stamped the way I want it. Now on this project, I'm going to use some of our dinosaur paper and stuff, and so I kind of want the letters to have a little bit of a scawampus look, like maybe a dinosaur's been stomping around and messing everything up. So I'm not going to try to get these perfectly straight, but still I want to know where they're at. So I'm going to start in the middle with the W and just kind of drop that. Something funny about this ink, it's very, very clear so that you can emboss with it and that powder will stick. But when you use it on the Fluid 100 paper, it's almost impossible to see where that W is. It's on there and it's sticky, so I'm going to go ahead and run it through my powder even though I haven't stamped everything I want. See, so now I can see my W. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I can see it great. I just need to make sure that I don't touch that powder because it is wet. So let's go ahead and add the I. So like I said, I'm going to try to purposely tilt these. I'm not trying to get them straight. And in between each letter, I'm going to come over here and put some powder on it. That way I can see it. This, I can't remember if I already said, this is white embossing powder. If I said clear, I was lying because it's actually white. Okay, now we can go backwards and do our E and our L. Let's tilt that one forward. This is so funny. I've never done this before where I put powder on in between each letter. I actually just discovered this today, but it's like a little miracle for me because now I can see those letters. And when you use Versamark ink on a more smooth paper like the Whisper White or the Shimmer White, it's not hard at all to see. It's just kind of this shiny image, but it somehow disappears into this watercolor paper. So now we'll give it one final run with the powder, and that is his whole name. So let's pull these aside. The great thing about having this lined alphabet set, not only can you do any word on any card, like you can do baby or hello or whatever you want to say on the front of a card, but for me, I just love personalizing. So you can do, you know, the name of the person you want to give it to. Now, of course, you're going to need your embossing heat tool. Let's see if I can get it over here. It almost reaches. You guys see that in my frame? Okay. Move this away. Another little trick to embossing with this paper, one thing that can happen if you heat it too much or overheat it, again, it'll sink down into this paper because the paper is designed to absorb a ton of moisture or water. However, it'll absorb the embossing powder too if you're not careful. So I like to emboss this from underneath. So hopefully you can see this. Oh, there we go. So my L and my E are starting to melt. They just turned super clear. And halfway through my W, I'm going to flip this around so I don't burn my little fingers. I'm trying to hold it so I can see it and you guys can see it. It's really special. Okay. And that says Lewis. Let's see how well you guys can see that. So it's white on white, not too exciting right now, right? Now is when the magic happens. I'm going to do a little bit of watercoloring. So I'm going to grab my aqua painter. This is my favorite tool to do just any kind of water techniques. This actually opens up in the bottom, fills with water, and then you have this long old brush at the top that'll just continually flow water through it. There's a valve right in here that allows the water to flow slowly. So I've got my old olive ink pad, and if I ever want to use ink in the top, I'll like squeeze it like that and get a little bit of ink in there, and that's why you can see ink smeared, because I do those kinds of techniques all the time. But if you want quite a lot, you can just grab your little re-inker bottle and drop that in. So let's get plenty. And Pretty Peacock is my other color that's in that dinosaur paper that I'm going to use. And I'm adding a little extra too. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of layers of watercoloring. This is going to be fun, you guys. I'm excited. First of all, I want a little bit of this Pretty Peacock across the top. We're going to do half and half with peacock and olive. So I'll dilute it a little extra, getting some water in there. And then I'm just going to jump over here and swoosh it across, back and forth. I don't want to go all the way off the edges, but no need to be shy either. Just kind of all over there. And you can just run this on your scratch paper until it runs clear. And now we can jump over to the olive. I want this a little less diluted, so I'm not actually squeezing this. I'm just picking up the color. And I'll go ahead and run it on here. We're going to let it go ahead and go right up into the blue. Okay, so this is gonna wanna dry for a minute. Get this all cleaned out. I always do this before I put it away, otherwise you might get a surprise when you open it up and it's very pink. But this should be ready to go for any color next time. Ooh, look at how that green's bleeding up into the blue. So fun. Now I'm going to set these aside for a minute, and while we're waiting for this to dry, we can put together some of the other parts of our card. So let's see. I've got my paper trimmer here. I'll let you guys go ahead and be a part of this since I don't have it all cut. We'll pop the paper trimmer in the frame, take out the bits from the last project I did, and usually a card base is 5.5 because this is 8.5 by 11, and so half of this is 5.5. So I'll just put that right there at 5.5. And while I have this in here, I will rotate it and score it as well at 4 1/4. And our trimmer is so nice because it has that scorer right there on it. So now I always still use my bone folder. Get these lined up just right. And there's our card base. Next, I want to use this dinosaur paper. This is from the dinosaur suite that we have right now that is actually retiring too. So there's no paper of the day, but if there was, it would be this one for sure. So this is already 4 inches wide, which is what I want, and I want it 5 1/4 this direction. So it's going to cover almost the whole card base. See that? Move our trimmer. And this is a fun two-tone ribbon. It's got green and blue on it, and I'm going to cut a piece to go right across here. Use my sharp scissors. And I like to use just Scotch tape if I can see it here on my table. I definitely did have some. Oh goodness. It's probably too close to me. Oh, here we go. It's underneath my embossing tray. Hi, Jean. I see lots of people watching quietly. Feel free to say hi if you're watching. And this doesn't need to be perfect, but I'm going to run it approximately across the middle of here. Whoops. Don't attach yourself there. And I cut this way longer than I needed to, I guess just so you guys can see it. But I just taped those ends. Okay, and now we'll grab our snail adhesive. Put plenty on there so I know it's gonna stay, even though this card is for a 1-year-old. Just kidding, I don't know if his parents will really give it to him to hold. I imagine a cute picture of him kind of holding it. Wouldn't that be cute? Okay, so here we go. And let's go back to our little piece that we've been coloring on. This one turned out a lot darker than the last one I did. Let's see if we can still paint our letters in, and then I'll show you the first one I did too. It's kind of some fun with watercoloring. It turns out a little different every time. But I'm just going to pick up some straight pretty peacock and come right in here. This is part of the reason, I'm kind of shaky because I'm live. This is part of the reason I like to emboss, because it basically gives you a little line that doesn't bleed past. That is if you're not shaking. I might be too trembly to make it perfect. It's so scary going live and crafting for my friends. What if I mess up? Just kidding, you guys are so nice. You would be nice to me even if I messed up, wouldn't you? And there's always a way to fix it, right? People like to say there's no such thing as a mistake, just a creative opportunity. Okay, so I'm just taking this pretty much full strength Pretty Peacock ink and filling in the letters to spell Lewis so that it'll pop the most in the center here. It's kind of fun to watch it go into the paper and absorb. So pretty. You can start to see as it dries, it does lighten up a little bit, and it's definitely mixing with that green that's underneath it at the bottom. Okay, fun. This is still quite wet. I can show you a few other things while we wait for it to dry. That's a habit. I always get all my color out of here before I put it away. So I think we're all done now with our watercoloring, and this, we just want to let it dry. One of the other things that I did was take some Dino Roar embellishments. So these little guys are part of the same suite that has this paper in it. And of course, it's a 1-year-old little boy, so I was like, oh, what's boyish? And so I thought of our dinosaur stuff. This Dino Roar suite has been great because all the backs of the papers just have these fun geometric designs. And so it doesn't have to be dinosaurs every time. You can get all different looks with this. This time I wanted dinosaurs. I'm just gonna put one more leaf at the bottom. It's so dark it hardly shows. Still cute though. Does anyone else know a cute little boy named Lewis? Because now I have 2 cards that say Lewis on them. So give me a shout out if you need me to send you this card. And that can be one of the prizes I do from this video. I also have some more of the Dino Roar embellishments. I can do some of the paper. So everybody who's watching, make sure you give me a comment. Tell me what you liked, or if I messed up, did I say pink when I meant blue? I do that kind of stuff all the time. And whatever comments that you want to leave, I'll pick a few people to send a door prize to. It's my favorite. Okay, got our dimensionals on the back. This is still quite damp, but we're gonna go ahead, let's stand up so we have a good view. And here's how it looks. Oh, that is so cute. Fun. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I get in a mood, and lately I have been in a watercolor wash mood. Every stamp set I open up and start using, I think, ooh, this would be pretty if I were to watercolor wash with it. And that's what this is. When you emboss with either clear or white powder, and then you wash color over the top of it, then the actual embossed part will resist the ink and it'll just leaves it all popped. Let me show you the one that I did earlier. You guys tell me which one you like better. This one is totally dry, so that might be part of why it's lighter, but also I put especially the green ink on quite a bit darker on this one. So which one is better, you guys? And that's the one I'll send to my nephew. And then I also made one where I have a niece who had a birthday. This is embarrassing. I've gotten so bad with cards right now. But I'm way behind on my birthday cards, and I have a niece who had her birthday on May 10th. So gosh, that is like a full week ago. I'm so sorry, Molly. I bet she's not watching. But I made a card for her using this technique too. So I did 2-tone background. Did it. The blue and pink was really fun to mix because it made this cool purple line across the middle. Isn't that fun? So there's another one. And now while we're at it, let's go ahead and look at a few more samples done with the lined alphabet stamp set. This is our stamp set of the day. Featured set. It's retiring soon. It's one of those really beautiful, I'm keeping it in my permanent collection so I can personalize my projects. So let's leave these 2 in the frame and see what else we've got. Look at that one. So this one just says, holy cow, those aren't even colored in. They're just overlapped a little bit to create pieces. That one was done by my friend Melody. Here's one where I stamped and cut out using the dies. There's a set of dies that will actually cut these letters out most of the way. It cuts them out like this on a big kind of chevron piece so that you can layer them. So that's a fun technique. And here's another one done with that technique. So that one's also stamped. You can see the letters to spell yay are stamped tone on tone. And here's my negative spaces. When you do a card like this, you can take the pieces that were in the other spaces and use those as well. Ooh, here's another one that was kind of a watercolor wash. Look at that wash on the background, but then also these letters. That technique is done with the pigment sprinkles to get that dark blue. And then the U is copper embossed. So that's a fun one too. And then here's one more. This was done with the Stamparatus with all the different letters on the plate. Both plates were used, half the letters here and half the letters on this side. And then you could stamp all of them and then layer other ones on top and add an I love you. So those are my samples that use lined alphabet. If you don't already have this one, make sure and get it into your permanent collection. And if you need to order it from me, go to brandistamps.com, press shop, and go ahead and enter the host code of the month, which is 33V99FWB. And if you're just watching as a friend and want to comment, I'll do some door prizes from this video. Make sure you hop over and join my stamping page, or sorry, my stamping group, which is Brandi Stamps with Friends. I always have fun projects and things going on in there. And I'll see you next time. Happy Sunday, you guys. Bye.